G'day everybody, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm PC. Sorry this is a voiceover for the first minute and a half, but things got a bit hectic and somehow I've broken my shotgun mic, so I missed the audio on the first track. I've got a job for a customer, 3 large taps, inch and an eighth. I use them for cleaning out the threaded bore of steering components after they're electroplated, and they gather a bit of rust fairly quickly. The taps don't perceive to have much wear, or aren't perceived to have much wear, but it's enough to prevent the battery drills they use driving them through the components to clean them out. So I've thrown it up between centres on the tap grinding attachment, and it's quite a simple old piece of gear. It's as old as me or more, and it's got a cam in behind the handle that works the lever and rocks the whole lot backwards and forth. And the big fail here was a big piece of boo, like a small Besser block, was caught inside the mechanism and stopping it operating properly, which was a little bit of a pain. But I'll try and get this synced so I bring me back with the video talking as soon as the next section starts. It's a bit of an interesting job, as one of the new taps, or taps from new, look to have minimal or no clearance behind the cutting edge, and I found that to be a little bit strange. But it's quite a good recovery. They're very, very expensive tools, and I think it's worth doing this job properly. But very soon I'll cut this out and try and clip it into the mainstream video. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you shortly in the next clip. Oh, didn't time that too good. Coming up now.
Wow, how good is that for a close-up? This front lens is very, very good on the camera. Okay, for those that are not initiated, this is the flute of a tap, and you can see it was ground with or produced with a 2-stage process. One was a milling process. You can still see the striations up in there where the flute was basically ground, and then second process, you can see that there's about a 3.5mm wide band that's been ground to give the tap its sharp edge and also striations in a opposite direction. Now, one problem you get with this process, and I was only made aware of this a little while ago when looking about grinding gear cutters. When you form relief gear cutters, the relationship between the rear of the flute and the front of the flute might not be equal for all teeth. So if you index off the back of the tooth, you get an error. So what they suggest you do is index off the front of the tooth, there, grind the back of the tooth to the front of the tooth, and then you can index off the back of the tooth to grind the face that's going to do the cutting, and you'll be accurate and equal for all facets. A little bit of a drawn out process, but hey, if it does the job, what does it matter? Now, I've blackened the lead of the tap there so that I can see what happens in the grinding process, and I'll do the first one without you guys coming in, because in all cases any oops I bugger it, but also it gives me a little bit less stress. And the next one I put up will be the one that doesn't have any change in the width of the grooves, and I think there isn't any clearance, and we'll see what happens when I grind that one. Now I'll take you out a little bit and show you what this machine looks like. This is I think American-made, very, very old tap grinding attachment. Originally when I bought it off Fleabay, it didn't have a base, and I found out recently it's not supposed to have one. Underneath the base plate there is a spigot, and the spigot is supposed to go into the T-slot of the tool and cutter grinder table and pivot there to give you the lead angle. So that part of it was ingenious, but having made the base allows me to clamp it onto the Clarkson table a little bit more free. Now, this is the main frame. There is a second rod over the back. This is the main frame rod, and you undo that clamp and you can move the rod inside the frame to adjust it for the different length taps. Now, the tap is held up between centres, quite an ingenious mechanism. This one is adjustable. You undo the clamp bolt You can move it in and out, and that's also good for changing quickly several taps at the same diameter. All really, really hard material. Now, the actual chuck that holds the tap is a brilliant piece of engineering. And nowadays we all use rubber flex collets and smart ass things, but I don't think they're as good as this. Okay, just trying to keep it out of the way of the main spotlight, I think. Yep, that's fairly good. Okay, you've got 2 thumb screws, one either side. Wrong way, silly old goat. This one says tap, and that friction loads this little sliding V-block. You've got a centre in the back there that engages the back of the tap, and this V-block engages onto the outside corner. So that locks the tap to the fixture head. Now, when we come to this side, this says set written in there. That clamps the head to the shaft of the attachment. So the first thing you do is securely hold the tap, and the second thing you do is undo that nut, that frees it up, come up to the start of one of the lobes on the cam, I'll get the right word out there, and you adjust the flute over the back to have the fore and aft of the flute almost vertical. And then as you turn the attachment around to engage more and more of the tap, the closer you get to the cutting edge, the more it backs the tool away from the work. So it grinds more on the heel of the land and less on the front of the land. That's how you get the radial relief in behind the cutting edge of the tap. So quite an ingenious arrangement. Now it all works on a push rod that comes through the guts of the attachment, and marked off on the front here is a little dial with the size of the tap. And the further you wind that inwards, the more the push rod activates the attachment and the greater the amount of clearance applied. So it's now time to fill my face. I'm feeling a bit hungry, and we'll come back after lunch. I'll go through one tap on my own and then go through one with you in the video. Bye for now. G'day everyone, here's that same tap that was all blackened in the end, and I'm showing you what it looks like with the regrind. I don't think I can get you in any closer than that. No, that's about the best focus I can get. But you can really pick up the area behind the cutting edge. It's now much brighter, and I think that'll give him quite a good bit of service. You can see a little bit of corrosion up the flute of the tap on the area that was milled. The rougher surface finish gives the corrosion a bit of an edge to bite in. So I'm happy with how this turned out. I'm using a wheel that's marked as 38A60, but it's a slightly harder wheel. I think it was eventually designed for a small bench grinder job or something, and because it's a little bit harder, it gives a slightly finer finish, but it doesn't cut as fast. But already you can see the surface of the wheel is starting to glaze over a little, so I think before I put the next tap in, I'll give it a little bit of a touch up with a dressing stick. Okay, I'll bring another tap over and give you a look then. Okay guys, a bit of a follow on from last week's effort. What a wonderful job I did on the tap. All except for one thing. There's no clearance behind the cutting edge. So I did a little bit of fault finding on the mechanism that you adjust it with, and move you over just a little. This is a shaft that rotates when you operate the handle on the tap grinder. Inside the back of it there is a V-groove. That's the little block that operates inside that V-groove, and the adjusting knob here controls the amount of input this has by giving more clearance as you back it away. Now, I had a look inside the back of the attachment. There's the cavity that this little block sits in, and the adjuster rod can be seen there. And it looked like a Besser block in there. There was a great big gathering of abrasive dust, all in a lump about twice the size of the end of the pencil. And it was caused by someone in the machine's past had done a real good job of lubricating the thread, and the oil or grease had gathered that big blob of abrasive, and you just couldn't blow it out of there. So I gently eased it over like this, took the block out, cleaned the cavity, and everything's good. We can get it back together now, but that was a little bit of a drama for a few minutes. Okay, I'll turn this off, zoom out, regrind the first tap, and try and get the bloody things done properly. And here we are back at the tap, and quite obviously it's now working. You can see here that the rear of the land has got more ground away than the front. So got the attachment working properly. However, there's always a bloody however, I haven't got the rod in exactly the right position, and I had a look at the instruction manual. There's no given adjustment procedure. Now this face normally sits up a lot closer to there, so I've got to shorten the rod up a little bit. So I'll have to undo the clamp screw there and adjust it up. But I've got it running at the moment, where the tap will come out quite good for the customer. And I did see that one of the taps from the factory wasn't ground properly because the width of the groove was parallel all the way around, so that tap I don't think could ever have worked. But one item back up and running. Sorry about the noise, but you can hear the old phase converter running in the background, but I'll be able to whiz these taps up before lunch now and get the job back to the customer. So please like and subscribe if this has helped you at all. The setting procedure, by the way, over on the left here, this is the cam, and there's a little roller underneath here that goes into the grooves. With the roller in the groove, which it is at the back at the moment, that puts the flute dead in line with the grinding wheel over here, and the leading edge and the trailing edge of the previous flute have to both touch the grinding wheel at the same time. Then you have the tap timed to the cam and to the wheel, and that gives you, there you can see the correct clearance. Well, a little bit of a refresher course for me, but now I can get on and finish the job. Please like and subscribe. Bye for now.